Today's conversation is a little different. Normally, you get a chance to hear from caregivers, the ones who are carrying the load, the ones who are providing the care. But you'll get a chance now to hear from that person who's receiving the care recipient, the one who had to make the adjustment in life as well, and the one who's getting a chance to experience it day by day. And it's even more special because today we get a chance to hear from my husband, Mr. Willie Sapp.
Welcome to Grace to Care. Take a breath, pull up a chair, little laugh, little truth to share with Grace to Care. Together for the ones who hold it off through the late calls.
Welcome to Grace to Care. I'm Fern Sapp.
And I'm Jessica Banner, and we're here having conversations on the grief, grit, and gift of caregiving.
Reminding you that in caregiving, you're never meant to walk this alone because we are Grace to Care. Oh my goodness, Jessica. First of all, I want to just say welcome.
Yes.
Welcome. We're so excited to have you here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes. Now, listen, I know it's a true honor for you to be here because I have the honor of giving you care every day. And so today, I know who you are. Jessica knows who you are. But would you tell our audience who is Mr. Willie Sapp?
Well, right offhand, Mr. Sapp is a very complex man. I may appear to be simple in life, but I'm very complex. I enjoy classical music, if you all can believe that.
Love some of that.
Jazz. I love being alone from time to time. I'm a Christian. And let me preface that by saying I'm a practicing Christian. Meaning that I don't have it all together yet, but I'm working on it day by day. Secondly, let me say I'm a husband. I'm a father. A grandfather, and a man who enjoys life. So if you want to know who I really am, you have to come and spend some time with me. The doors are open. Just call me a week in advance so I can prep for you. And again, I say thank you all for inviting me.
Wow.
Absolutely. It's always a good time. Mr. Willie's funny. Real funny. I always have a good laugh.
I do too. Every day.
Yeah.
Most days.
So today we're going to talk about several different kinds of things, but I know that you have shared with me that you've dealt with multiple diagnoses. You have been living with Parkinson's disease, and you have walked through what it is to have cancer. So can you talk to us and share with us a little bit about what it looked like when life changed?
Well, it was very shocking to me because I've been very active. And when it first happened, I didn't realize what was going on because I was at McDonald's in the morning trying to get a breakfast. And I had some change I had some dollar bills. And I wanted to pay for it in dollar bills, but I couldn't separate the dollar bills. And I didn't know what was going on. So from that point, I started watching myself. Then I couldn't pick up coins.
Wow.
So various tasks I've been doing all my life. And I just couldn't do it. I tried, but it wouldn't work. And I started noticing other little smaller things I couldn't do. And as a result of that, I had to get a diagnosis. Then my voice started going away. And I have, from time to time it goes and comes. So it's just various little things. But the transition, I'm still making a transition.
Yeah.
It's not something you just transition into.
Sure.
It's a day-by-day thing. Because some things you might be doing today and tomorrow you may not be able to do them.
Right.
And that's what gets you. And in your mind, you don't really know if these things are going to happen, but you think about it.
Right.
From time to time, like during the day, you think about, well, today I was eating, and tomorrow am I going to be able to feed myself?
Right.
Today I took a bath. Tomorrow am I going to be able to wash myself? I shaved today. Tomorrow am I going to be able to shave?
Right.
those kinds of things happen.
Mm-hmm.
And they cross your mind from time to time.
Absolutely.
And so that is a very, you're uncertain as to what's going to happen, but it does come through your mind that this may happen.
Right.
I pray every day that I go up and not down, and keep a positive attitude. If I can't do something today, I'm going to try it again so I can maybe do it tomorrow.
Yeah. Of course, I've had the opportunity to watch you and to see that person who jogged 4 to 5 miles every single day. And to see the person who I remember, I've got to tell this very funny story.
Church shoes.
You heard him, y'all. He said church shoes. I've got to tell this story. I remember, just to show you how avid, right? One time we went out of town and he forgot his jogging shoes, but he had his items for church. So he had his suit, Jessica, he had his church shoes. And so we get to the place and he always got up at 4:30 a.m. like clockwork without an alarm clock, 5 a.m. ready to go jogging. And he realizes he does not have his jogging shoes. I'm thinking surely he's just going to pass on jogging, right? I look out the window and he has on his socks and his church shoes jogging outside. Now, I laughed probably from the time that you started jogging until the time you got back home. I even woke my sister up and called her and I said, you are not going to believe this. He's out jogging. So I've watched it, and watched that transition, moving from the place of being very avid and mobile, and moving around to now, like you say, having the uncertainty. Let's talk about that a little bit, because you've got caregivers on the line, but we want to speak today to the care recipient as well. Talk to that person who's receiving care like you. What do you say to them for how to navigate and how to move through, the waters when things begin to change in your life?
Well, number one, you got to say that things will get better.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think that things going to get worse.
Mm.
You got to have a positive attitude. Yeah. And you got to have people around you who have a positive attitude.
Mm.
And with that, the two of you or three of you, how many around you who helps out, can really conquer this. I call it conquering, but you may not get 100% back.
Mm-hmm.
But each day, if you're living better than you did yesterday, I call it a victory.
Oh.
If I can get up in the morning and still wash my face, I call it a victory.
Yeah.
Even though I may not be able to put my shoes on, it's a victory.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll watch you every day have victory after victory, And
I'm going to continue to have victories. Because I remember when I have you in my life.
Oh. I've literally tell people that I get an opportunity to take care of you. I get an opportunity to care for you. And does that make every day easy? No. Does it make every day, smooth? No. But the reality is that for whatever reason, God chose us.
Yeah, he did.
He allowed it. We know that, he doesn't bring sickness, but he allowed it. He allowed it to come, and he allowed us to walk this journey, and to be able to know that you were chosen, is just unique. And so I love seeing your victories. I remember one time, Carlos, our OT guy, he told me, he says, you do too much for him. Let him have, like you're saying today, we'll start calling them that, the victories. He said, let him do those things that he can do. And now I'm realizing that those are victories.
Yeah. Some people don't realize that God put us here for a purpose. And even though I am in the state I'm in, there's a reason for that. I could have perfect health and still service people. But because I'm the way I am, there's a purpose for me being on this earth. I figure every day I wake up, God made I have not completed my task yet.
Yeah.
And that's my reason for waking.
Yeah.
Because I'm like this, God has done this so that I may help someone else, not me. Because this is not for me. Because I know God wouldn't have me like this for myself.
Yeah. Yeah. It's powerful because it does show, his sovereignty, but it also shows that you have a great level of faith and a great level of trust. And would you say that that's something that has helped you, and that can be a help to others?
Absolutely. I've seen the others who are, I would say, in worse shape than I am. And as a result of that, I call that a victory for me.
Wow. It's so special to get to share this with you guys. And I just want to say thank you for being so willing to share your story. You were saying something a minute ago, Mr. Willie, about how God did this for a purpose outside of yourself. Right. And one of the reasons we're sitting here is because of you.
Yeah.
One of the reasons we're getting to talk to this community has been because of your journey.
Right.
And there's a lot of weight in that. There's a lot of significance in the value of what your experience has for other people.
Yeah.
And I so appreciate you sharing that with us. And,
thank you.
I really heard as you were talking that idea of victory. When my dad got hurt, one of the things he shares a lot about his recovery journey was, he said, the difference between me and somebody else, he had one of the more severe versions of a brain injury that you can have. But he said he made such good progress in his recovery. He said, because I had to keep the perspective of victory and I had to keep the perspective of, I have to keep a positive attitude. Yeah. And how do I keep myself focused on what I can do versus what I can't do? And that always stuck with me. And even today, we're 20 something years out from the accident.
Wow.
And he and I've even recently had some of those conversations in the last year. And that really helped him make the most and get the most out of that process. So I was resonating with that when you were sharing that, and just that significance of the new normal, and that every day could be a new normal, because anytime you're dealing with any diagnosis, disability, disorder, illness, you don't ever know where the impact may land from day to day, and it can change, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it progressively gets worse, or sometimes you have pockets where things are more challenging, but you have a lot of comeback space. And that's a lot to live with, with the unpredictability or the uncertainty of what's my capacity today. So I so appreciated your words in that. And when I first met you, we've not known each other too long, but I was so excited to meet you. And I just getting to know your story. I know I peppered you with a ton of questions that night at dinner because I wanted to know you. I already gotten to know your wife a little bit, and we'd already connected on the caregiving space in both of our lives. But one of the things you said to me that night was about how you really had a heart for men in the space of what it is to have to step in to receive care.
Right.
And so I would just love to hear more about your heart and your perspective about helping men or talking to men about what it is to receive care and what that might look like for caregivers who may be caring for men to consider both sides of that fence. Being a man receiving care and what it might mean to care for a man receiving care.
Well, the first thing would be we are very stubborn creatures.
No.
I'm just saying that for myself. And we don't like accepting advice a lot of times. And I've been guilty of that several hundred times.
No.
I would say for men, you have to let your guard down. You have to make sure, I wouldn't say make sure, just have to trust the people who are helping you. Because they have your interests at heart. And theirs, it's not just a one-sided story.
Sure.
Like I said, one plus one equals one in this situation.
Right.
That's good.
It's not one plus one equals two. We are unified because of something that happened to the people, or persons. And we're not here just for one person.
Wow.
It's a team, whether it's 2 people, either 22 people. And I would say for the men, we have to trust the people who we work with. Let your guard down and grow your faith, as I always say. and keep showing up for a better day.
Wow, that was a really powerful 1 + 1 is 1, because we're all working towards the same goal together, or at least working on how to work towards the same goal together.
That's good.
That was so powerful. And if you were going to say something specifically to caregivers about caring for men, what would you share to them?
Don't be so hard on us. I'm just teasing. Everything got to have a little humor. I would say.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Make sure you have some humor in it. Because if you don't, you're going to lose it one way or another. So I would say to the would you say recipients or givers?
Givers.
Caregivers. I say to the caregiver, just be yourself. Get to know the person. You got to get to know the person. Because some days you might think the person is faking and they're not faking, So you got to get to know the person.
Yeah.
And have some flavor about what you're doing.
Flavor, I like that.
Because if you don't, it's going to get very, very bad. I'll say bad for the lack of a word.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's an emotional situation, because you got to realize 2 people's lives have changed, not one.
Right.
And you got to resituate everything in your life. And the caregiver got to receive everything. Care recipient got to change. You got 2 people's lives changing. And you think about the people they have affected. It's not just 2 people.
Right.
The caregiver has a group of people.
Right.
And the care recipient has a group of people.
Right.
And that might be hundreds of people.
That's true.
Lives have changed because of one situation.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's more than just 1 on 1 and 1 equals 2. It's 1 and 1 equals 1. And that could be 100 people.
That's true.
That's true.
Wow.
That's true.
That ripple effect.
It does. It has a ripple effect. Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the things that I'm looking forward to is that we get an opportunity to expand the conversation even more, because we get a chance to share our book. And so many of you will be able to go on into order and to get it. It is Graced to Care, T-O Care. And it is 2 voices, but 1 journey. And so that's why I love when you say the 1 + 1 is 1, because even though you hear 2 voices, it's 1 journey, that we're on, and we're on the journey for care. Well, listen, this has been absolutely incredible. I'm excited about where we've come and where we've gone. It's caregiving. It takes a lot. It takes a lot, but it can be done. It can be done. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here with us today. It's been such a joy to hear your perspective. I kind of want to ask you a follow-up question and just say, if you had one big takeaway that you'd want our listeners to hear, what's one thing you'd really want them to walk away with today?
It's going to get better. Don't think it's the end of your world.
Yeah.
Because God has made it a way for us to have a better world every day. You just have to look for it. A lot of times we miss it because we're looking for the bad stuff.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So I would just say look for the good in everything.
Yeah.
Even if you can't get out of bed today, be thankful God you're still breathing. That kind of thing.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Caregiving is often seen through one lens, right? The caregiver, because we're predominantly here oftentimes talking about the caregiver.
Yeah.
But today we were reminded that there's another heart in the story.
Yeah.
Right. There's, like you said, it's 1 and 1. And there's 2, there's 2 ones and often maybe even 100 people affected.
Yeah.
And behind every caregiver is someone navigating loss, change, and courage in ways you may never truly fully see.
Right.
Yeah.
And that may not always get talked about.
That's right.
That's
right. That's right. Well, thank you so much. What an incredible session on today, right? But also what an incredible life. And so thank you for sharing that and even being vulnerable, enough for us to see and to hear so that we can all help one another as we go along.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're glad that you tuned in on today. Share this podcast with us. Make sure that you visit us on our website at www.grace2care.com. And remember, you've been listening to Grace to Care with Fern Sapp
And Jessica Banner.
where every story reminds us that we're not here alone, but we've been graced to care together. See you the next time. Bye, everybody.
In caregiving, you're never meant to walk alone. We're grace to care together.